Yo, I'm Anna, and I'm kind of a freak when it comes to Disney princesses. How to be a successful YouTuber. Step 1, know your audience. Okay, check. Step 2, cater to that audience. This is a video of one to make that no one asked for. Like, I think you'll be fascinated by this even if you're not big Disney dorks like I am, but believe me, I know that this was not what you expected to see on my channel when you brought your beautiful selves onto the interwebs today. Furthermore, I have to make the disclaimer that the only 2 parks I've ever been to in person are the 2 parks in the US, a good ol' A, and that all my info comes from the hours of home footage that I've watched from other people's overseas Disney trips, like normal human beings do. So, for those of you who don't know, there are 7 Disney parks around the world. There are the ones in California and Florida, and then there are the ones in Paris, Hong Kong, Tokyo, and Shanghai. There's also Aulani in Hawaii, but we're going to be talking about the other parks today. Now, while the parks overseas all have that same Disney magic vibe, there are some pretty big differences I've noticed when it comes to the princesses. Don't ask me why I'm so intrigued by the differences in the princesses. Probably just the hours upon hours of meet and greet and parade footage I've watched. I might have a problem. So the first big thing to note is that the overseas parks are not entirely owned by Disney, so they don't follow as strict of rules as the US ones do. They pretty much have free reign over the princesses' outfits in the parades and stage shows, and they have certainly taken artistic liberties in the past. You're lucky I'm not spending too much time on this monstrosity of a jellyfish, Tokyo Disney. You'll also see a lot more of the princes with their princesses, and I feel like they're a lot more lax on the PDA overseas, because like, whoa, I see you, Snow White. Okay, girl. So let's talk about how these ladies are picked for the princesses. Disneyland Paris holds open auditions in Europe, much like the US, but because of its looser rules, sometimes the princesses will have accents. Yup, you could get a Rapunzel with a Welsh accent or a Cinderella with a British accent. It's anyone's pick. The Shanghai, Hong Kong, and Tokyo parks follow the canon princess accent rules more strictly and are much more concerned about casting ladies whose facial features exactly and ideally fit the princesses. From what I've heard from a Disney employee, you don't even audition to be an overseas princess. They're hand-picked from the princesses of the US parks and offered the position. Now here's where it gets super interesting. They don't just have to look, sound, and act like the princesses. After all, they often speak with the park visitors less than in the US due to language differences. Side note, the princesses overseas who do meet and greets still do speak English, spare for the occasional common phrase in the local language. Aside from the parades and stage shows where they fluently speak the local language, which seems like it would be kind of confusing for the kids, but let's just ignore that. So what else do they have to do extremely well? Pose. And I mean pose. Let's break it down. We're mostly going to be talking about the Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Shanghai parks here. Au revoir, Paris! So, before we get into the posing, I need to explain the way meeting princesses works over there. They still have your average stand in line, wait your turn sort of thing, but in addition to this, a lot of times the characters will simply stand out in the open and have a semicircle of people around them, and then just pick who gets to come up and interact with them next. It's so surreal. You gotta watch it to really get a sense of how it works.
It's like the character lottery. We're going up. We're going. Hi there. How are you? Yeah, come over.
Oh, thank you. All right, should we just step in here? Hello. Hi.
And what does this look like from the outside?
It's like a literal crowd of people around Aurora right now. This is how meet and greets work in Tokyo. You literally just crowd around the character and they just like point at you to come up to them.
Crazy, right? Now people and kids do like to interact with the princesses, of course, especially if they know some English, but a lot of times the biggest thing is just to take pictures. And I don't mean taking a picture with the princess. I mean they'll ask to take pictures of the princesses by themselves, or, I kid you not, a group with cameras will just form around the princess and just take pictures non-stop while the princesses pose. This is where the posing skill comes in. They can go from one pose to the next with like unbelievable ease, and it is truly a sight to behold. And to those who aren't used to it, it looks very odd, but with picture taking being a huge part of the Asian culture, they love it. It's something you gotta witness to know what I'm talking about though, because we're talking like non-stop posing in complete silence while 30 cameras just click away. Like, watch. Isn't that crazy? Another. Like, their job is to stay photogenic with every little move that they do so that a picture can be taken of them at any given time, which is really hard to do. Of course. Of course. I love that. I love that so much. But like, this takes so much skill. Look at that. Look at her go. What a little doll. Like, to show you just how crazy it is, let's count how many poses this girl hits while just sort of fluidly moving. All right, so she, oh, that's a pose, pose. Pose, page flip, pose, 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 pose. Get that coin, girl, pose. Yes, pose, pose. Pose, 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 pose. Like, I'm just in awe. Also, I think that's the same girl. Okay, so this is the first one I ever noticed that something was like a little off with. Because she does her little dance, cute, cute, cute. And then normally, after she does this lovely little dance, and then she blows her little kiss, you expect her to interact with the crowd. But no! Homegirl goes right into poses like a pro. That's the same girl, huh? Like, I don't think you'll realize how good at her job this girl is. She's incredible. Like, oh my God, how does one come up with that many poses? Oh, skirt. Girl skirt, yes. Oh my God.
There we are. Thank you.
Like,
See you soon, everyone. Thank you.
I'll watch these videos just like, they're so good. Look at this. You can't even stop her when it's raining. Oh, yes. No poncho can hold you down, girl. Ali above moi. More like Ali above moi. Yes, queen. Yes, armography. Work. God, it's so fluid. You can take a picture of her at any point. It's the same girl. That's the same girl. All right, originally I thought this was gonna be a video about princesses, but I think it's just gonna be a video about her. Seriously though, girl, can I like be you when I grow up? I am physically pained by how pretty she is. Anyways, those are the differences between the overseas and US princesses. Am I the only one who finds this fascinating? I might be the only one who finds this fascinating. Also, thanks so much to everyone whose clips and pictures that I used. All their stuff will be linked below, so go check their profiles out. All in all, I love a lot of the things that the overseas parks do, but they'll always lose because they created this monstrosity. Who thought that was a good idea?
And I'm not trying to be with you now, but I could be a crush, I could feel you for a rush, like hope